This is my, new to me, 1984 Volvo 740. My friend Tim picked it up from just outside Telford. It is my first non-turbo Volvo and something to play with. It has had motorbike carbs fitted but not tuned very well and had trouble getting through the emissions test. So amongst a couple of other bits and pieces, that's what we're going to try and do first before any modifications start. As you can see, there's a bit of rust in the car, and it was sold as it couldn't get through emissions on the MOT, but there was some rust that had been welded. And what really transpired was a couple of bits of rust had been welded in the rear pockets, but the floor pans on both sides had a decent bit of rust, and the sills, inner and outer. So this is one of, I think, 3 bits that failed on the MOT. It did fail on welding in England on the MOT as well, but obviously their screwdriver wasn't as good as the one over here, so they found this and a couple of bits on the sills. So we'll start with this one because it's going to be the most awkward for having to strip a bit of the interior out so we don't set fire to it. So we'll get cracking with stripping the interior. So we'll start pulling, I think, the seat out, probably the first protocol, and some of this trim. Let's see if we can get some of that carpet out of the way. Excuse the dirty carpet, but one thing that I've come to appreciate out of old Volvos is just how well even the simplest things are put together. Like really good quality zinc plated screws in the interior, right down to the bolts holding all the brakes on are all zinc plated and nice. The advert did say welding was all done. We determined that to be incorrect. That cardboard is a bit thick, so we'll try some taper.
Do you not have like scissors in like a toolbox?
Yeah.
Well, like, is that scissors here?
Could be.
Huh?
Could be.
Let me see if they're the right size.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
They look,
just using my dirty hands.
they look normal.
Yes.
They look normal. Do you want them?
Well, I just use my dirty hands to trace that. So we'll cut that out, transfer it to steel, and then cut it out. Anyone who's ever welded rusty car panels will know that it's not normal to be able to do a big seam like I was doing there. I am very impressed by the new welder. We're by no means going for full restoration quality patches here. there's quite a bit to do and not a whole lot of time to get it done. So stuff was just patched up good and strong, get a coat of anti-corrosion stuff to it, and get it through an MOT. Interior all back in, give it a little hoover on that side while the seat was out. And
That looks good.
yeah. Just give it a light coating of stone chip so you can still see, or wax oil, just to keep the rust off it. And the MOT man can still see the weld, hopefully. Drive, hold the brake, into D. Just gentle. Steer that by a wee bit. Just away from them things. So you can go a wee bit quicker. Tiny bit. A wee bit.
This is a bit bumpy for me.
Well, that's alright. You're doing good. Just hold the throttle on gentle. You can go a bit quicker than that.
Like that?
Yeah, perfect.
And then turn, is this a corner? Yeah.
Yeah, just a wee slight bit. So just wait until you're up there.
Well, look at it's the car up there.
No, stay on the concrete over here. Yeah.
Well,
Stay
we'll
on
change
it.
seats when we get to the top of the lane.
Yep. Just stay in the middle of the lane, okay?
This will be quite long.
It's alright.
At least we get in a bit to drive.
Make sure you stay in the middle, okay? There's like a big ditch down both sides. Stay in the middle.
Oh yeah, see
Just
the
go
ditch.
slow.
Am I doing good so far?
Yeah.
Like I've actually drove down that long lane.
Yeah, you're doing good.
You gonna sell it to him? Oh, here's a big corner.
Easy. And a brake. Into park, yeah. So a lot happened. This was taken just after Christmas, and I was kind of cracking on over the Christmas holidays trying to get the rust sorted. It turns out the driver's side had a bit more than I'd thought, and every time I chipped a bit further back, I found more rust. So I just flew through all that, didn't video much, got stinking as you can see in the process. But I also had a bit of an accident in work and ended up squishing the end of my finger off. So the last couple of weeks I haven't been able to do anything. I've been sitting in the house buying parts and getting a bit of help from friends to do the mechanical bits that were needed for the MOT. So Johnny Coates, aka Stuntman John, gave me a hand doing the tie rods and track rod end, and I was able to get the wheel bearing and stuff tightened up before that. As you can see, a couple of bits have arrived. That's a set of wheels for the saloon. I was just test fitting and painting on my estate, and then I decided while I was off work and couldn't really do any mechanical work, I would teach myself how to build wiring harness for the standalone for the 940 once and for all. I had a go previously trying to wire a standalone ECU into the Volvo 940 that I have. I struggled because I tried to piggyback into the standard wiring, and because it has like an ignition ECU and a fuel ECU, it was getting very complicated, and I kind of just canned that project probably a year and a half ago. So it's good to try and do it complete and just make a complete engine harness with the help of some good YouTube videos, especially one that Jimmy Oakes done maybe 3 years ago. Very helpful and allowed me to understand better what I was doing. So hasn't been tested yet, but hopefully that will be soon.
Last night. It just looks like a mess of wires, but I think that is pretty much all the wires I need in it, apart from the wideband, which I need to look into today. I've got an old Innovate LC1, I think it is, so I'll figure out what wires it needs and throw a few in for it. I need to get one more of these little plugs to use the crank angle sensor that I want to use. I found just one that I had lying about off Skoda Octavia, the 1.8 20 valve, so we'll do that. But last night got all the wires ran in the right locations, hopefully, for the crank sensor. The car doesn't have an electric fan at the minute, but I put some wiring in for that. Got 4 injector plugs. So today I need to do the throttle position sensor, the crank angle sensor, and wire in this plug for the Chinese smart coil, and then add air temp sensor, coolant temp sensor, and a plug for the knock sensor that's already on the car, and one for the idle valve. So we'll get them done. It's just fiddly work pinning tiny little plugs in with a destroyed finger. That looks, it's all wrapped up. So the only reason I've got time to do this is I'm off work on the 6th and I can't really do anything strenuous or that would risk hurting the finger again, so I've just been playing about with wires.
We got a bit of frost, so I just wanted to start the 940 and get a bit more antifreeze into it, just to stop any issues with pushing out free flows or cracking anything. No exhaust on the car at the minute, so sorry neighbours. That'll be a project that needs done soon. Trying to get the 940 back close to standard with just some suspension upgrades. The package from Classic Swede has arrived with the gas adjustable shocks and springs and some adjustable top mounts, and I got like a coilover conversion kit and some standard struts for the front. So that will hopefully be the setup for the 740, and I think, as you've probably seen before, the 940 has some yellow speed coilovers with adapters that I made from the standard struts. I was able to get the car through the MOT just on the emissions. The car is now with Ben Lawrence, who I met through drag racing and is a bit of a wizard with carburetors, so hopefully he can work some magic with that. And you can kind of see now a couple of the bits I've collected and the inspiration for what I want this car to look like, and maybe a sort of clue to its further use in the future.